Good morning, everyone. Dan Bates, President and CEO, Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and I'm glad you could join us this morning for Coffee and Conversation. We're going to be hearing from Lynelle from TerraLuna in just a little bit about how important a wellness program is for the benefit of your employees and their happiness and productivity and all that stuff I'm sure that Lynelle's going to cover. With that, we are on a Zoom meeting. If you have any questions, I'm sure Lynelle will not mind if you interrupt her and ask those questions. If you're on Facebook Live, which is often the larger part of our audience, type your questions in, and Tiffany or Laura will get your questions answered for you by our speaker. So with that, who's doing self-introductions? Tiffany.
All right, I'm just going to start on my screen. So, Laura, will you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Good morning. I'm Laura Merrill with the Greater Hamilton Chamber.
Sandy,
Good morning, Sandy Pesnoff with Frank's Glass.
Jason,
Hey there, Jason Michael Miller with Greater Hamilton Chamber.
and I'm Tiffany Grubb, Director of Marketing with the Greater Hamilton Chamber. And with that, you can go ahead, Lynette.
All right. Let me get into little screen sharing. Can we see this?
Not yet.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Click the share, and
We see it.
how about now?
Yeah.
Okay, technology is our friend. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our coffee and conversation. And thank you so much to the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and especially Jason Michael Miller, for encouraging me to take this step and share this presentation this morning. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate the invitation and being here. And I want to welcome you all in as well. Thank you for sharing your time with us this morning, or whenever you watch this presentation. Thank you for sharing this time. Your time is so valuable. We all have a lot of options of what to do with our time. So I appreciate that we're sharing this time together today to talk about how workplace wellness programs can either benefit us individually, depending on the structure of our organization, or certainly that workplace wellness programs can drive our employee retention, our employee satisfaction, and most of all, well-being. So with that, we can jump in and allow me to share a little bit about myself. So I am a business owner in downtown Hamilton. I own TerraLuna. We're a Pilates studio. We also offer different types of fitness classes and different community programs, including book clubs, sound healing. So we're a wellness center. So I deeply, deeply believe in the importance of wellness and well-being. And a little bit later, we'll talk about what that is. The concept of well-being might be a little bit more well-rounded or global, or a bigger concept than we initially think. Like if we say wellness, people probably think exercise, and that surely is part of it, but that's not everything. So sharing a little bit more, we just had our 4th anniversary on Sunday. So my fitness studio has been open. Yes, thank you, Jason. My studio has been open for 4 years. And we've had a lot of growth. We've had a lot of change. We've had, of course, challenges. We've had successes. And it's a joy to be anchored in the Greater Hamilton business community, as well as just the community at large. And meeting people from Hamilton, from Oxford, from Fairfield, from our surrounding area. I have guests now who come in from Cincinnati and from Indiana who have really discovered that their well-being, their wellness is being served in Hamilton. So it's just a joy to be here and be part of this community. I've been a part of Hamilton since 2009. My husband and I moved here. And if I can share what really got me into understanding the importance of wellness, it is back in 2010 when I embarked upon a new career in Hamilton. I got a job at a big corporation, a nationally recognized corporation that has branches all over the United States. And by and large, this was a retail job. So there was a huge sales component in addition to customer service, in addition to problem solving, in addition to offering the basic services that we were expected to offer in an in-person retail setting based out of offices. So it was probably really similar to a lot of corporate jobs, but it also did have a sales component. So it was high stress. So if anybody has ever worked in sales, we understand quotas, we understand expectations, we understand that job performance. So this was a high stress job. And I had been with that company for about 3 years when that company instituted a corporate wellness program. One of the facets of this program was an on-site physical. So a nurse practitioner came into our office one day, weighed us, took our blood pressure, took our pulse, and took a couple other like pretty simple measures of health. And it was jaw-dropping. It was jaw-dropping. So in the course of that day, I learned that my statistics were less than ideal, which is a very polite way of saying off the rocker. My pulse was super high, but my blood pressure was the thing that was really surprising. So this was, again, probably about 12 years ago. I was in my mid-30s. The nurse practitioner looked at me and said, "Are you having a rough day?" And I said, "No, I'm actually having a great day. This is the first half of the day. It's before lunch where, things are pretty quiet around here." She wrote down my blood pressure on a Post-it note, turned it around and slid it across the desk for me. And she said, "I think you should be worried about your blood pressure." And I looked at that number and I was like, oh my gosh, I was worried about my blood pressure. It was shockingly high for a day that I really felt like was a pretty mellow day. It was pretty relaxed. So I wasn't 40 years old yet. And that moment proved to me how serious on the job stress can be. And I began to understand this is how stress kills people. The blood pressure, the pulse rate, sedentary nature of sitting at a desk job. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to this. So I felt really lucky that in my mid to late 30s, I was having a very clear object lesson on the dangers of stress. And now what are we going to do? So over the next years, as a active participant in a corporate wellness program, I dedicated a part of every day's lunch break to a 15-minute walk. I participated in stress relief webinars. I learned to set healthier boundaries. My health improved. So did my relationship with that job. So I learned that when we care for our bodies and our mental health, we can lead better, we can make clearer decisions, and we can show up more fully for our teams, our guests, our customers. So now, many years later, being the owner of a small business, a business that is focused on wellness and well-being, I want to ask each of you, what would happen if every employee in your organization, or yourself if you run your own organization, what would happen if everyone had that same opportunity to embark on a wellness program? So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. So we want to talk about how workplace wellness really can drive your employee satisfaction, retention, and well-being. This is a business strategy. So what does it cost when a great employee leaves? Most of us probably think of the cost associated with recruiting a replacement, the cost associated with training that replacement for that employee who left, lost productivity, a break or a pause in the corporate culture. We probably just lost a really valuable member of a team who brought their own special thing to our organization. We lose a lot. Some of it is pretty definite and obvious in terms of training costs. And some of it is a little more ephemeral. The loss of culture, the loss of a person who was doing a great job and was a member of a cohesive team. So this question of what it costs when an employee leaves can be quantified, and also some things really can't be quantified. So we can also consider that behind a lot of departures of employees might be issues that were preventable. Maybe they were feeling stressed and unsupported. Perhaps there was a lack of work-life balance. Maybe they were suffering from chronic pain or illness, and perhaps they were suffering from burnout. So implementing a robust employee wellness program isn't an option anymore. It's vital for keeping your team healthy and productive. That's a quote from Rodney Matos. We'll be seeing some other quotes and a study that he did in some future slides. So many of us are potentially thinking of wellness as a perk. And of course, that was the name of our presentation today, Pilates and Perks. So instead of thinking of wellness as a perk, I want to challenge you to consider that a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations are now recognizing wellness programs as a strategic investment. So workplace wellness is not simply a health initiative. It's a cultural initiative. We need to consider all of our colleagues in all facets of wellness and well-being, including their physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being. So if we were to define corporate wellness, maybe this is a great place to stop for a moment. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I don't have a question, but I want to affirm that that was such a brilliant concept that it's great for retention, which I had not considered before.
Thanks. And we have to drink our coffee too, because it's coffee and conversation, right? So yeah, Jason, thank you so much for that. So yeah, definitely retention. We'll get into that a little more later. So let's take a moment now to define corporate wellness. Corporate wellness refers to employer-supported programs, policies, and benefits that help employees maintain their physical, mental, emotional, financial, and social well-being. According to workplace wellness advocate Ronnie Matos, successful programs must address multiple dimensions of well-being. Fitness benefits alone are valuable. As we talked about right at the beginning, if I asked you to define corporate wellness, you might say exercise more, and you wouldn't be wrong. But fitness benefits are valuable. However, employees experience the greatest impact when organizations take a more holistic approach. And holistic is a word that means global or all-encompassing. A strong wellness culture may include flexible scheduling, mental health resources, and access to coaching. A tobacco cessation program if we have people who are smokers, vapors, or use other tobacco products. Stress management tools, financial wellness education, healthy workplace policies, community building, and maybe also the availability of fitness benefits. So corporate wellness, it's not a gym membership. It is the intentional support of employee well-being. So let's take a look at what the data shows. According to WellHub's 2024 Return on Wellbeing study of more than 2,000 HR representatives, 95% of organizations that measure wellness program return on investment, ROI, report positive returns. 95% of organizations. That's huge. Nearly 2/3 reported receiving at least $2 back for every $1 invested in employee well-being. 99% reported increased employee productivity resulting from those wellness initiatives. 91% reported a reduction in healthcare costs. That's huge, a reduction of healthcare costs. 89% reported fewer employee sick days, and 98% reported improved employee retention. So there you go, Jason Michael Miller, employee retention. So we're not needing to recruit, hire, or train anyone because we're not losing people. So we are benefiting organizations at every level, financially, practically, and functionally. Improved productivity, fewer sick days, lower healthcare costs. That's great for organizations, but it's a lifesaver for individuals. So as an organization, we're saying, oh my gosh, like our healthcare costs are so much better. We don't have as many sick days. This is great for us. This is great for our bottom line, which is absolutely true. But on an individual personal level, that employee has made changes that is going to improve and prolong their quality of life. That's huge. That's huge. We're making a small change at an organizational level that is adding years to someone's life. So I just don't think that can be overstated, that wellness programs benefit our bottom line, but also could be someone's lifesaver to improve their quality of life and their longevity long after they leave, long after they retire, long after they leave our organization. So wellness programs should not be considered an expense. They are an investment that pays dividends. And the most successful programs share two characteristics. They address multiple dimensions of well-being. The study found that organizations with these holistic wellness offerings do achieve stronger results than organizations that only offered one or two types of support. The second factor of successful programs is that leadership actively participates. This is a powerful message for executives. Employees watch what we do more closely than what we say. We all probably know this. So we can say whatever we want, but it is our actions that matter. And if we as executives or the owners of organizations, if we walk the talk, our employees are also going to find value in the programs that we offer, which is great. That's what we want. We want to offer these programs and we want them to be utilized. So wellness really does have a competitive advantage. Ronnie Matos noted that employees who feel supported are more likely to feel loyal to their employer and remain engaged in their work. Wellness initiatives can strengthen morale, job satisfaction, and organizational culture. Today's workforce increasingly evaluates potential and current employers on more than just compensation packages. It's not just the paycheck. Of course, the paycheck is important, but employees are asking, will I feel supported here? Will I burn out at this job? Can I sustain a healthy lifestyle in this career path? We need to answer those questions, and we need to answer them to our employees' satisfaction. If we can do so, we will see that our employees or our colleagues are experiencing higher morale, better engagement, that greater loyalty that builds a strong workplace culture. People rarely stay at jobs solely because of salary. They will stay because they feel valued. They will stay because they feel supported, and they will also leave for those same reasons. So we need to ask ourselves, how often does my organization make employees feel cared for beyond the paycheck? So let's start to get into some real ideas now. We want to think about wellness solutions for all different sizes and types of organizations. And I really want to emphasize that budget can't be considered a restriction here. So if we're a big organization with a huge budget, if we're a small organization with a barely non-existent budget, we still have options and we have ideas. So I really want us all to consider that we can achieve wellness improvement. We can introduce wellness initiatives at any budget. Larger organizations do have some unique opportunities because of scale. Ideas could include a wellness stipend where the employees are provided with monthly funds that could be used for a fitness membership. Also, massage therapy or physical therapy, nutrition counseling, or mental health support or coaching. Again, we're not just looking at a gym membership. This is not just exercise more. We need to be holistically supporting our colleagues. We could also, with a larger organization, potentially consider on-site wellness programs, having a walking group, hosting monthly lunch and learn programs, offering on-site massage therapy, Pilates, or yoga classes. We could give access to coaching, and we're going to talk about that more later. We could also offer mindfulness or meditation breaks or sessions during our workday. Another great idea for larger organizations is to introduce flexible scheduling. This is one of the most valued wellness assets that costs almost nothing. Examples would be flexible start times for weekly or day-to-day work, not just 9 to 5 anymore. Maybe we want to work 7 to 3. Maybe we want to work 10 to 6. If that's available for your organization, those flexible start times can be such an asset. We could also consider hybrid schedules, partial or full working from home. We could also consider giving our employees wellness hours in addition to sick days and personal days. So it's a mental health day, mental health days. We don't need to be calling in sick. We can acknowledge, hey, I need half day, I need a full day to approach some of these services that maybe we're also offering or making available through our organization, the counseling, the coaching, the massage therapy. We could also introduce wellness challenges with our organizations. Maybe we break into teams and do a step challenge. Maybe we participate in a charity walk or department competitions. Who can eat the most servings of vegetables in a week? We can have a lot of fun with this. And lastly, we can also approach HSA and FSA education. We'll get into those again. So many employers already offer wellness support through HSA and FSA benefits. The question is, do your employees understand how to leverage these accounts for their eligible healthcare expenses? A wellness strategy doesn't always require creating a brand new program or benefit. Sometimes a wellness strategy begins with helping employees understand and maximize the benefits they already have. So let's go really quickly through the HSA and FSA. HSA stands for Health Savings Account, a health savings account. This could be available to individuals enrolled in a qualifying high deductible health plan. Benefits could include pre-tax contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free qualified healthcare spending. These funds remain with the employee year after year, so they roll over. Then we also have an FSA. This is a flexible spending account or a flex spending account. This allows employees to set aside pre-tax dollars for eligible healthcare expenses. Benefits include immediate tax savings and reduced out-of-pocket healthcare costs. Unlike the HSA, the FSA funds tend to expire on a yearly basis, but that depends on the plan rules. And I'll say that as part of my corporate gig many years ago, we did have an FSA, a flex spending account. That was one of the benefits that was introduced. So I can tell you it was amazing. I used it. I made sure to utilize it down to the last penny every year. That was a great benefit. Remember that a surprising number of employees never fully utilize those benefits. I was probably the rare one. I had a checklist that I was deducting. You better believe I spent every penny of that. If your company already offers one of these programs, your HR department can host a refresher on this benefit and highlight all of those eligible services. So, a surprising note is that recurring theme across wellness research being the participation of leadership. Our Well Hub study found that employee participation rose from 44 to 80% when leadership participation was high. So at the beginning, a program was implemented, less than half of employees participated. Then leadership looked around and said, nobody's using this program that we've established. Oh my gosh. So then leadership gets on board, gets really public, very vocal, and very present with their own participation in these initiatives. And all of a sudden, almost the entire company is participating. That's such a huge leap. So that really does tell us, again, people are watching what we do more than what we say. So these most effective wellness programs struggle unless and until leadership does participate. So let's move along, unless we have any questions here. No, good. So we're going to move along back to wellness at any budget. Let's talk about our smaller organizations. Smaller organizations often believe that wellness programs are financially out of reach. Ronnie Matos emphasizes that workplace wellness is not defined by the size of the budget. Programs can encourage connection, communication, stress management, and social support. These create such meaningful impact even when resources are limited. In reality, culture frequently matters more than budget. So some low-cost ideas include walking meetings. Turn at least one meeting per week into a walk and talk. Have your staff meetings, have your staff check-in. If you meet with staff one-on-one every week to discuss how their sales or how their week is going, take a walk around the block and have that conversation. Team movement breaks. Encourage 5-minute movement breaks during the workday. Again, flexible scheduling. If we can, allow employees that early or later start time for medical appointments, exercise, or caregiving responsibilities. If we typically offer a 30-minute lunch break, can we do a 45-minute lunch break and ask them, hey, why don't you use 10 to 15 minutes of that and go take a walk every day? That was the first change that I made way back in our earlier example, and it was a huge change. It was a huge change, just taking 15 minutes every day, rain or shine, to go walk around. We could also, as a smaller organization, embark upon some wellness partnerships. So we have a lot of great local businesses here in Hamilton. Let's reach out to them. Can we partner with a local business for those fitness memberships, massage therapy, coaching or counseling services? Can we connect with some healthy meal providers or meal prep services? We have lots of options. Again, we need to lead by example. So as emphasized earlier, our Well Hub study found that leadership participation dramatically increases employee engagement. This is even more impactful in smaller organizations where executives and frontline workers do mingle much more closely. So we can now move on to our solopreneurs. Our entrepreneurs are very small businesses, our one-person shows like me. What do we do when we are the HR department, executive, and frontline sales associates all in one person? So many chamber members are probably, like me, a business of one, or maybe a business of 2 or 3. The reality is that entrepreneurs are often the least likely people to prioritize their own well-being. Without intentional habits, business owners can become physically and emotionally exhausted. Be honest with yourself. Have you answered text messages or checked emails when you're laying down trying to go to bed? Raise your hand if you've done it. We probably all have. We don't have an on-off switch. We need to learn to establish and enforce some simple practices. Can we block out time on our calendar for exercise or wellness practices? Block it out like we would a client appointment. Can we create and uphold boundaries around our availability, including phone calls, texts, answering emails, as well as the time that we allow in-person contact, appointments, meetings with our customers or our colleagues? Can we create boundaries around availability, both in person and electronic? Can we take walking breaks between meetings or between our daily activities? Can we create technology-free hours? How about scheduling vacations and self-care appointments, such as massages or facials or whatever you do to take care of yourself? Can we schedule those appointments at the beginning of the year? That was one of the things that I did as 2025 rolled over this year into 2026. I looked ahead and I scheduled out all of my self-care appointments. They're little treats, but they are important to my well-being. And it makes me feel so happy that through the entire year of 2026, every 6 weeks, I have something really nice to look forward to. And I blocked that off on my calendar starting in January, all through the year. I have 12 months of really nice things. Every 6 weeks, I just have to hang on, and I'm going to have a little bit of self-care. Another idea, we could build a professional support network with our peers, mentors, or coaches. We need to have people in our corner who align with our philosophies and our needs. So for our solo business owners, our small scale entrepreneurs, you are the most important asset in your business. Are you investing in yourself? If we're self-employed, we have no HR department creating wellness programs for us. We have to become our own wellness advocates. And I really want us to all sit with that we need to take care of ourselves as we would our employees. So let's move on to talk about burnout. Burnout is more than feeling tired after a long week. The World Health Organization defines burnout as the devastating results of chronic workplace stress that is not being successfully managed. Signs of burnout include emotional exhaustion, cynicism or detachment, and reduced effectiveness and productivity. For employers, burnout may appear in employees as higher absenteeism or lots of no call, no show, late arrivals, tardiness. Burnout can also appear in employees as increased turnover, lower productivity and engagement, and declining morale. So here's where we're starting to come back to retention. We're going to have turnover, we're going to have absenteeism, we're going to have retention problems that are going to lead us right into staffing problems. For entrepreneurs or business owners, burnout may appear as constant fatigue, constant, unrelenting. We sleep 8 hours a night, we wake up, we're still exhausted. Constant fatigue, difficulty making decisions, loss of enthusiasm for the thing we once loved, and struggling to disconnect from the business. Again, creating those boundaries. Can we leave work at work, or do we take it home with us, take it to the weekend with us, and take it on vacation with us? We need to disconnect. So what do we do with burnout? Well, we could approach coaching. So if any of those signs that we just discussed seem familiar to you, perhaps coaching can help. Research has found that coaching can reduce emotional exhaustion and improve resilience. One study found that 96% of participants reported reduced stress and improved well-being following a structured coaching program. Effective coaching helps people reconnect with their purpose and values. So we're losing enthusiasm for this thing we loved. We started this business. It's our heart, it's our soul, it's our passion. And we wake up one day or 1 week or 1 month, or we look back over the past year and say, I can't stand this. And what a terrible place that is, that we have started these businesses and we've lost that spark. So coaching is going to help us reignite that spark, reconnect with our purpose, our values, and our enthusiasm. Coaching can help us regain a sense of control. It can help us establish healthier boundaries and reduce isolation, especially for us solo business owners. It can be a lonely ship. We're lucky we have this great Chamber of Commerce community here. And we need to build those circles and build those networks. We need to reduce isolation and find ourselves support and accountability. So coaching can help with all of those. Many business owners and leaders do struggle to separate commitment from overextension. Coaching can help identify where boundaries are needed, what responsibilities can we share or delegate, and how can we create sustainable work habits. Burnout is not solely an individual problem. Workplace culture, workload, autonomy, fairness, and psychological safety all influence employee well-being. And the same goes for business owners. Individual wellness matters. Organizational wellness matters also. And the strongest workplaces do support both. When we are thinking about sustainable well-being, movement and exercise, right? Go to the gym, exercise. These are some of the tools that people do use to stay healthy, resilient, and engaged in their careers. So let's talk really briefly about some more concrete examples for establishing a workplace culture of wellness. Let's talk about Pilates. So this could be an example of a wellness practice that you as a business owner or your employees participate in. So if you don't know much about Pilates, this is a really gentle form of exercise or movement that is accessible to most people. Pilates strives to improve strength, mobility, balance, and stress relief. And this is just one tool amongst many. At TerraLuna, we like to approach movement through cross training. So in addition to Pilates, we also offer barre classes, cycling, mat Pilates, Tai Chi, dance fitness, and so much more. So again, we want people to find sustainable ways to move, reduce stress, reduce burnout, and remain active through our lives. So if we think about Pilates, or we think about yoga classes or mental health counseling or coaching, let's talk about some examples really quickly of corporate wellness programs that we could consider instituting. So we could go back to this idea of offering a wellness stipend, especially for our larger or mid-sized companies. Can we simply give dollars to our employees that they could use as a monthly allowance for a gym membership or fitness classes or for their self-care or counseling needs? The benefit of this would be reinforcing your company's commitment to employee well-being. So again, we're walking the walk, we're walking the talk here. We are giving our employees a tool that they can use towards their own wellness goals. Another option would be sponsored wellness memberships. So perhaps the company or the organization pays 50% of a membership cost towards a gym membership or fitness classes, and the employee pays the other 50%. So now we have buy-in. So the benefits here are shared investment through increased participation, that buy-in, that cooperation. Our employees have a little skin in the game too. And we can also tie this into our employees' use of that HSA or FSA program. So we're reinforcing the importance of a benefit they may already have access to. Another example could be team wellness events. So a company that schedules monthly on-site Pilates or yoga classes, or does a fun field trip for some team building and goes to a local business to participate in a class as a group. A company that offers on-site stress reduction workshops. Back to that idea of taking group movement breaks through the workday. Or we could furnish healthy lunches on a weekly or monthly basis to our entire team. We could do that lunch and learn where we sit to that healthy lunch and also have somebody come in to share what the component parts of that meal were. We have lots of ideas. And the benefits of this, again, we're building a company culture of well-being, of care, of support, and we're building community. So if we look at the statistics, our WellHub study found that 98% of HR leaders reported improved retention after instituting wellness initiatives. 99% reported increased productivity. Organizations that invest in well-being are not simply creating healthier employees, they're also building stronger businesses. So if we don't have any questions, I'd like to share the sources. I'm big on giving credit where credit is due and sharing my sources. So this slide will be available, down the road if anybody wants to read these studies. And I wish to thank you all again for your time. We do have these options, of course, again, how to spend our time. So I appreciate you spending your time with me. In closing, our successful programs, again, are not the most expensive. They are programs that consistently communicate a simple message. People matter. Thank you for joining me again in considering how the implementation of a culture of wellness can improve employee satisfaction, retention, well-being. I appreciate you. Do we have any questions? Comments, concerns, ideas, brainstorms?
I don't have a question, Lynelle, but I just wanted to tell you that was really great. I really love that presentation. And we used to do a thing called, I think we called it net walking. It was basically networking, that we'd walk around like Markham Park, or we'd pick a different time. So maybe we bring that back. I don't know what you think about that.
Especially through the summer and all of, we
Yeah.
need to have like a net walking to tour our new sculptures downtown.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, so we'll think about that. But I really enjoyed your presentation.
Oh, thanks, Tiffany.
I love that. I hope we do the net walking soon to Lynelle, I have a question. So where would we start if we wanted to maybe get like a guys group together for like Pilates? I think a lot of guys are maybe scared to try Pilates, but once they do, they love it. I've not tried Pilates yet. What would you say to that?
Okay, so it's got to be the Jason Michael Miller does Pilates day. So I think, if you've been in sales, if you've been in sales is probably the best example I can think of. We've probably heard the term the Pied Piper. So we need that person who stands up and says, let's do this thing. So it does take that brave person that says, okay, I'm going to do this thing. Who wants to come along? So Jason, that's such a great point and a great idea, that if one man says, I'm going to go take this class at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Who wants to come with me? So, to very informally invite a friend, or to more formally create, a one-time event of, what did you say to me a while ago? Did you say bro lattes? Was that your idea? Do you remember saying that? So bro lattes, or, whatever you want to call it, men do movement. So let's get something scheduled, contact these local businesses, contact the small scale fitness organizations, contact that studio and talk to that owner and say, hey, can we get a men's movement class? Like, let's do a special event that is set aside and blocked off on the schedule that we want to be set aside for the gents. Because a lot of these businesses, especially in our area, we do have a really strong culture of women in business and fitness in business, and that's near and dear to my heart. So I think we do need to do something specifically to call in the guys. So Jason, this is a great opportunity to specifically get something on the schedule and have an opportunity to kind of just promote that and get the word out so that the men feel like, okay, we're all going to go do this thing together and experience this, and then there's that comfort in not being worried that somebody might be the only man in the room. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thanks for the idea.
Trying to see. Laura, do we have any questions on Facebook?
Nope, we have several watching, but no questions yet.
Hi.
Well, thanks for watching on Facebook, y'all.
I was just texting Tiffany how thoughtful your presentation was. So Lynelle, we're going to be uploading this to our YouTube channel, obviously keeping it on Facebook, and I'm going to send a recap to the registrants from today as well. For those that want to stay connected and know what's going on in Hamilton, we do have a Mix It Up later today at 5 o'clock with the Hamilton Joes baseball. We have a contractors roundtable on June 25th at 5 p.m. Our next coffee and conversation is going to be with the Butler County Historical Society on July 14th, followed up with a Mix It Up at ADG services, and that's going to be July 16th. You can find all this information on our website, hamilton-ohio.com. And again, you can find the recap of Lynelle's presentation on our YouTube channel. Lynelle, thank you so much for being here today. This was awesome. I feel really inspired, and I have some things that I want to kind of work with the members on. So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you all again. I appreciate the invitation. And Jason, I appreciate the encouragement for coming out to do this. So thank you all for your time today.
It's very necessary. So thank you. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.